Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, what has this lunar eclipse energy got in store for you? Let's have an aligned astro chat about it. Shalom all, Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive, and welcome to your Transformational Tarot special edition for the lunar eclipse that is happening on September 7th. And I'm going to be pulling cards for you guys today on this lunar eclipse so that you know how to best maneuver in this energy from the Chinese mythology deck. It's a great deck. I'm loving it. I think you guys will love it too. So without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, so I was throwing this together. I woke up in the middle of the night last night, which, you know, happens to be from time to time. I don't exactly sleep a lot. And I had this idea, oh my God, you need to do a reading for the lunar eclipse because, you know, everybody's putting their 2 cents in there. And where's your 2 cents with it? So I threw together this spread, and hopefully it's going to make some sense to you guys. So what fears are you being freed from during this lunar eclipse season? And fire signs, I feel very much, oh, this one's standing out. I feel very much, Ace of Wands. Yeah, oh my God, I love it. Okay. I feel very much that the lunar eclipse season for you guys is really about reigniting your passions, reigniting your fires. And when we're talking about the fears that are being released, you've got this Ace of Wands. Fear of getting started on something new and not being able to finish or complete it. Fear that any actions that you take are going to result in failure or are going to result in disaster. And I don't know why I'm being so dramatic in my languaging, in my words, but that's exactly what I'm feeling. There's an inherent fear that you guys are dealing with around the new beginnings. And I want to say, I feel like this lunar eclipse season is really going to support you in releasing any fears or self-doubts that you're having around the new start, around just leaning into your passions and moving forward with abandon, you know, is kind of how I would like to say that. It's important to understand that lunar eclipses are internal. They're connected to the divine feminine. They're connected to what we are receiving. It's a reset, but it is a reflection on where we've been and the choices we made and who we are at this time. Is that serving us moving forward? And that great reset is happening because we need to have that reset on the internal before we 2 weeks later have the reset with the external. And because it is a reset, because you are, I want to say, kind of tuning into not only a new version of you, but a new and improved version of you, you want to make sure that you've got your ducks in a row about it. And that's why there's a little bit of fear here, because I feel like you guys don't necessarily feel like you've got your ducks in a row. I feel like there's a lot of trepidation around the fact that there's not a whole lot that's actually feeling solid or feeling tried and true. But I want to say to you that Ace of Wands is that spark of inspired action. And you guys know, because you are fire signs, you guys know that anything that you get started, if it's going to fizzle out fast, it's going to burn itself out, you know, before you've even put a ton of energy into it. So don't worry so much about the level of investment or the time or the energy of investment that you're having to put in. I would say lean into the fact that you're being reignited and pay attention to that reignition and how it's making you feel. I feel like that's kind of the most important aspect to this for you guys. What can you intentionally benefit greatly from during this lunar eclipse? So in other words, like, what are you going to get out of this? What are you going to get out of this? The Chariot, forward momentum. I want to say there's victory in this, but I want to say it's victory in like like swift and bold and big and in your face. You know, when you're looking at this particular card, there's a lot of movement, a lot of action. It's not the traditional chariot where you've got the two sphinxes that are, you know, sitting waiting for the instruction to move forward. This is the chariot in motion. And I feel like you want to be setting the intention for yourselves to be in that motion space. Charge forth with confidence that what you are creating, what you are moving towards is going to reveal itself to you in really helpful ways. But sometimes you've got to just take the leap, right? And again, normally you guys aren't particularly afraid to take a leap or to step into something new. But for whatever reason, I feel like this lunar eclipse is bringing up certain areas of failure, certain areas of, or I should say, perceived failure, right? Certain areas where you've been judged for different choices. The chariot is coming through to say, none of that matters. We absolutely are going to be moving forward. And it's giving yourself permission to move forward and to figure things out as you go. I also always like to talk about the chariot in terms of it being like the Uber or the Lyft when you're going on vacation, right? Like you land at the airport, you get your luggage, you go through customs, and now you're getting ready to go to the resort, right? You're on the Caribbean island. Well, you don't want to have to take all your luggage and walk to the resort. You're going to take the cab. You're going to take the Uber or the Lyft to get you from point A to point B. But that point A to point B might be a really smelly car. It might be cramped. You might have to have a bunch of stuff on your lap because the trunk doesn't fit all of the stuff that you need for your vacation. You certainly wouldn't want to drive around and spend your entire vacation in the cab, right? That's what this is about. And I feel like this is the intention that you can set. This is what you're going to benefit from, is the swift movement in the forward direction, knowing that this is temporary. And when you get to your destination, then things are going to start to kind of settle in. But in the meantime, you want to hang on to your hat because there's going to be a lot of movement. Ooh, I love that. Big changes can happen now. And I feel like that's what you want to be considering. Is this isn't a time to manifest, but this is a time to evaluate the manifestations and evaluate the goal that you've been working towards, because you're going to get there really fast. This is the opportunity to give yourself permission to be able to get there fast and then figure it out once you're there. You know, you've got enough ducks in a row to get you started. That's what I feel this is about. What gift does the universe have for me during this lunar eclipse? What am I receiving? Okay, this one definitely just kept getting stuck on my fingers. Oh, interesting. 8 of Wands. So 8 of Wands is a part of swift release. I think it's really interesting that it's coming right on the heels of the Chariot. So what gift does it have for you during the lunar eclipse? Swift release, letting go, not hanging on to anything that is going to hold you back or keep you from, I want to say, that forward momentum, keeping you, sorry, I just realized that one of my lights isn't on. I was wondering why it was, a little bit dark. So I apologize for that. This swift release is a blessing. And I feel like for you guys, for you fire signs, there are going to be some releases that occur during this next 6-month window, and especially this 2-week period of time, that are going to feel a bit jarring and are going to feel a bit like maybe you're not quite ready for this to go. Maybe you're not quite ready for this mode of release, or you want to have a little bit more of a sense of control over how this goes down and plays out. And my heart goes out to you. I want to say, just let it go and let flow. It can be uncomfortable, but on the other side of it, it's going to make so much sense. And these are the things that we kind of have to release and clear out of our mental space, our energetic bodies, clear out as the only option, or clear out as part of the path and journey, because I feel like these are things that just aren't supposed to go with you. They're not capable of supporting what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And it may not make sense at the time. It might look a little bit different, like, wait a second, but I need that person, or I need that tool, or I need that job in order to, do this or that or the other thing. Trust that it's a blessing what is leaving. And it's a blessing that it's happening quickly, because just as quickly new things are going to be moving in. So you're clearing the decks, or I want to say the universe is clearing the decks on your behalf. And it can be a little bit jarring, but hang on, because I feel like what's coming in its place is going to be much more manageable and much more aligned with the true heart goal that you have. And that's part of the challenge for you right now, is I feel like your goals are a bit scattered. So it's going to bring about focus to the goal. Who are you becoming during this potent time? I feel like that's why all of this is being moved away. Yes, King of Wands. Oh my God, it's your card. So you're becoming the higher, stronger, faster, better, smarter version of you. And I feel like any stage or phase of transformation that you've been in up to this point has been the birth canal, or has been the womb. It's the caterpillar goop, the messy middle. But this lunar eclipse is laying the foundation again on that internal level for you to really connect with it's going to sound so cheesy, but what I'm hearing is the wind beneath your wings. I don't mean the cheesy Beaches song, the Bette Midler song, although it's a pretty song. But I don't mean it in that way. I mean the literal wind beneath your wings, right? Your fire signs, you need air, you need oxygen to keep your flames fanned, right? To keep you elevated, to keep you motivated and going. I want to say some of you have not necessarily felt that deep level of motivation, or maybe you've been settling for something, you're making do, it'll do in a pinch. This eclipse season is really going to move you in a very different direction. And it brings you closer to the core version of you. And that king energy is the penultimate component, and it's not that kings are better than queens, or better than knights, or better than pages. It's more of the state of energy. And this state of energy you've not really felt for quite a while, or not felt it in the way that you're going to feel it after this eclipse season, because there has been a clean slate created, and now you're coming in and you're able to, I want to say, place the new, more aligned versions, the more aligned goals, the more aligned dreaming that really wants to come to light. But for whatever reason, there's been a settlement that has gotten in the way. Well, it's not in the way anymore. I feel like this is definitely who you're becoming a more aligned version of yourself. I want to say an aligned version, and an impassioned person, and an impassioned version of yourself. What card energy helps you lean into deeper trust with your soul journey, so you can be fully open to your path with confidence? Trusting that this window of time that you've been in, where things have been a little slow and steady, or maybe a little boring and pedantic, has served its purpose. Pentacles is the thoughts becoming things. It's the realm of the material. And I feel like this sort of disillusionment, or this restlessness that you've been feeling, or despondency that you've been feeling, the Knight of Pentacles has actually been supporting you during that time, because the Knight of Pentacles doesn't expect anything in return. This archetype is loyal. This archetype is lighthearted, and it's going to be there for you in a pinch, but he might be the knight that shows up last to the party or last to the fight. He still shows up. He still, comes in and does what needs to be done. But he leaves you kind of going, ooh, like I really could have used you 5 minutes ago, but okay, you're here now. Let's get this going. He's in it for the fight. And so I feel like, when we are really talking about the deeper trust, I feel like this slowdown has been all designed to help you rely a little bit more on the earthly energy, relying a little bit more on the material side of things. But this is also now time to move into the passion, the fire, the forward momentum. It's no longer about meandering. This is about lighting the fire under the ass and moving forward. So trust that this served its purpose, because now it is ingrained within you. Now you've integrated it, you've implemented it. It's going to be there for you. So now you can add the flame on top of it, and it's going to support that flame. It's going to hold that flame. Interesting. And how are you to best serve your community or the collective, during this time? This is a time where we all really need a lot of love and attention and support. We need to be there for others, but we also need others to be there for us. And I feel like that's what this is about. Yeah, Queen of Swords. So for you guys, I feel like it's boundaries. It's really getting in touch with the people, places, and things that serve you, the people, places, and things that support your dreams and your goals. You really need people who are not naysayers at this time. Lunar eclipse energy is really going to point out those individuals who really support you with judgment, or they conditionally support you. Unconditional love versus conditional love. They're gonna support you unconditionally, or they're gonna support you conditionally. Some people do have those particular conditions in place. Some relationships are naturally designed to do that. You're not going to necessarily have, an open, loving relationship with the dishwasher sales guy who sets up the contract for you to have 2 years to pay off your dishwasher, right? But there's a contract there, right? There are boundaries to that, and it needs to be honored. So I feel like the lunar eclipse season, this next 2 weeks, and then, it moves into the next 6 months for you, is about discerning who you really are here to have these kinds of relationships with, and to what level and degree those relationships are supposed to take. So you're not here to serve everyone in the collective in the same way. You're here to serve the people who show up in your world, establishing particular boundaries around that, and allowing that to then lead the way and set the tone. When you are living in a very boundaried, healthy boundaried environment, your fire is workable, it's manageable, it's maintainable. When you don't have any boundaries of any kind, the fire goes all over the place and it wreaks havoc. When you have too many boundaries, you lack oxygen, and then you lose your passion for life. So I feel like Queen of Swords is really coming through to say, serve your community by becoming aware of what your flame is doing and what you want it to be doing, and then nurture and fan it accordingly. That is going to help the collective more so than, I want to say, being very honest and direct and getting in there and trying to, be very specific and succinct in, I'm going to help this person with this, and I'm going to do this thing for this person. No, this feels more like really being in touch with yourself is going to help you to open up community-wise what is required, just by being you and walking your path, which I think is really important. Okay, now I'm going to pull an anchor card for each of the signs. We're going to start off with Aries. And this is an anchor card to help you harness the potent lunar energies of this eclipse. I love it. Judgment card, Aries. Okay, so now's the time, seize the day. This is not a time to be beating around the bush. This is not a time to analysis paralysis get in your head. It's also not a time to be overly impulsive. You want to watch your words. You want to watch your temperament. So lunar eclipse energy, lunar energy is about the internal. And sometimes when we are doing that internal deep dive, it can be very uncomfortable for us, and it brings up or releases the demons that are within all of us. And those demons sometimes it's the ego voice that sometimes tries to say, well, yeah, I see this wrong about me, or I know I made this bad choice, but you did this over here, like the defer and deflect, the projection. Be careful with that, because remember that everything that you're exploring internally, you're going to be turning around 2 weeks later and exploring that externally, which means others are going to be seeing and witnessing that as well. You want to work out any of your ego mind stuff before you go into the externalization of what you have uncovered. Okay. No, it doesn't mean you have to be a perfect product at the end of this 2 weeks, but you definitely have the ability right now to use your judgment and discernment to say, I'm going to choose to respond in a different way. I'm going to choose to not react to people, places, and things around me. I'm going to choose instead to take a moment, and before I say anything, before I do anything, I take a walk around the block and really get clear on what is it that I really want what outcome is it that I really want this to have for me? What's the highest and best outcome for me? And make your decision based on that. Remove some of the emotion from the equation. I feel like that's going to help in some pretty big ways. Okay, Leo, here is an anchor card for you guys to help you help you harness the potent lunar energy. 7 of Pentacles. Leos, so I feel like for you guys, there's been too much, like there's been a lot of abundance, not abundance, sorry. There's been a lot of indulgence. That's the word I was looking for. Overindulgence. And I feel like the 7 of Pentacles is coming through to say, hey, this energy isn't going to last forever. So maybe it's time for us to like store some of the stuff up. Some of the energy is ripe for the picking, and some of the energy needs to be on the vine a little bit longer. And yeah, you might want to be able to access it all and go full steam ahead, full tilt, but it's not ready yet. And as much as you want a thing to be ready, it grows in the fashion in the time that it grows. So I feel like for you guys, the anchor card that you want to lean into is a little bit of patience, and also an awareness that while you want everything now, and there's a component of you that is capable of having everything right now, everything isn't ready for you. So as much as you are ready for it, it's not ready for you. And you want to be leaning into that energy. Give it a little more time. I like to say, let the cake bake. You know, each oven is different. So like you're following the recipe and it says 20 minutes. Well, some ovens are a little hotter than others. And so 20 minutes might be 17, and then it starts to burn. 20 minutes could be 25 minutes in another oven that's not as hot. And I feel like that's kind of what we're dealing with here is you need to be more present with like reading the room, reading the situation. Yes, you are ready, but maybe the other person, place, or thing that you're about to engage with isn't. They might need a little more time. Give yourself and them permission to get their needs met, because in the end, it's going to work out better for you. Again, when we're talking about this in terms of the 2 weeks, the lunar 2 weeks, and the internal component of this. It's going to be externalized, and you want to be able to make use of that externalization in a very clear, concise, direct, and powerful way. And you don't want to have any messes to clean up before you step into that. So if you start something a little too soon, you might end up kind of ruining the very thing that you're trying to work with. Sagittarius. So this is the anchor card to help you harness the potential lunar energies. 10 of Swords. So you got to let shit go. I feel like there's a lot for you guys that is, and I feel like some of this is you knowing that there are things that need to move along, that you do need to release. There's a part of you that wants to hang on to it for comfort. There's a part of you that wants to hang on to it out of a sense of self-sabotage. But I feel like the 10 of Swords is coming up to say, either you let it go, or it's going to be removed in a way that you're not going to have any sense of control over. And it might be icky. It might be a little uglier on the other side of that. And you don't need that. Lunar eclipse season is giving you the time to willingly move through the grief period, right? Or move through but I want it, and I'm mad that this isn't working out the way I think it should work out. Our timing and divine timing are often two different things. And sometimes we can't understand why a thing, we've been brought right to the edge and then it doesn't work out. We find out in hindsight, but we don't always know in the moment. This is a card that says, get clear, get right with, get comfortable with and resolved with things leaving your life, knowing that you're making room for something really new. And I mean, like 2 weeks from now, when that solar eclipse happens and everything gets externalized, you're going to have a clear path. You're going to see why all of this transpired. But in the meantime, you got to let go of the stubbornness. You got to open the hand. You got to release what you're hanging on to. Otherwise, it's going to be released for you, and it's going to be uncomfortable. Ooh, said with love. Okay, and for all of you fire signs, this is how you can best focus these individual energies. So this is kind of like your action step. Interesting, 7 of Swords. So integrity, living true to yourself, living true to what you know, living true to what you want out of your life, out of your choices, out of the people around you, out of your true heart's desires. Integrity is the key. For some of you, I feel like you'll find integrity through a strategic approach. For others of you, I don't feel like strategy falls into the mix here at all. It's about just saying, this feels right to me, or this is right to me, and this isn't right to me. And that's how you kind of move forward. That's how you make your choices. So integrity is the key. Wow. All right, fire signs. So that is your special edition transformational tarot reading for the lunar eclipse on September 7th. I really enjoyed being able to connect with you guys in this way. I hope it made some sense. I hope it's helpful. Again, I kind of threw it together at the last minute. So hoping that what was downloaded is really going to allow you guys to harness this energy in a way that's really going to make it work for you. And, we have these lunar eclipses and solar eclipses every single year, but they are really significant. So take advantage of it. Really take the time to be intentional about acknowledging it. Go out, under the moonlight, have a little moon ceremony, whatever you need to do to honor this, and it will honor you. All right, guys, until next time, we will see you on the flip side, and transform well.